How did Marty do?
He's all right.
He's so full of shit.
He's all right.
What's that? Yeah. He's such a pussycat, yeah. Got a kid. Yes, there it is. There it is. They still haven't fixed that poster, though.
I know, right? The real Kreese.
Yeah. We need to have me and Kreese on there. No, I'm kidding, Ralph.
All right, so what's your favorite thing about season 2?
Wow. Good question. Big question. Season 1 was really coming in through Johnny Lawrence's eyes and seeing his point of view and kind of coming in at this kind of tunnel vision micro. And what I love about season 2 is that now that we're in that world and after the tournament, it's almost like the camera's zooming back and we're seeing more of a world view of all the valley, and we're seeing Miyagi-Do growing, COBRA KAI growing and getting more complicated with Kreese in there. And also the relationships of all the new characters and the young characters. So, the first season was a little bit more micro, and this is a little more macro, and it's bigger sets, lots more fights, a lot of levels, but it keeps the same tone and spirit of the movie, the show. The music's awesome, the fights are awesome, and it's going to take you on a ride, and you end up somewhere you had no idea you even got there. It's great. The writers did a great job.
So you up the ante on the action.
Yeah, man. I don't know how they're going to top it, man. I mean, they're already beating us up hard, man. Like, our fight scenes are long and brutal, and lots of them. Yeah.
I always thought the original films were mostly about friendships and fathers and sons, or fathers and daughters.
Sure.
Miyagi and Daniel, and now obviously Johnny and Miguel. When it comes to season 2 with you and Kreese, is that something that's discussed often, not just on the page, but is that the theme that they want to go for, especially with Kreese now that you've done it with Miguel, that father-son relationship, absent father,
for sure.
deadbeat daughter, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of it all, the karate is just the canvas. It's like the back.
Right.
It's like, the real stories are the relationships in this show. And I think that's what people mostly connect with, and then the martial arts is great to watch and fun. But for sure, the relationships, the father-son between Johnny and Kreese is a very dysfunctional relationship with a lot of pain and a lot of love and a lot of history. Johnny kind of wouldn't mind him having changed and become a better man and let him in. Did he? We'll find out. And Kreese has a new respect for Johnny because he's not a 17, 18-year-old boy under his thumb. He's a sensei. He's a man now, and so Kreese gives him his space. So there's a little bit of these two kind of alpha dogs kind of sniffing each other out and giving each other space, but they both have different ideas, different opinions, and different experiences. Kreese came from, a hard background, and what he experienced in life with Vietnam and all of his backstory is a lot different than Johnny growing up in the valley on a motorcycle. So at the beginning so there's a lot to sort out between the two of them, but yeah, Johnny wouldn't mind Kreese turning out to be the dad he never had. And
I was going to ask that next, because if they gave Kreese such a big background, what was Johnny's? We know what he was like in high school, but did you guys flesh that out with his kind of childhood, fatherless or not, or whatever?
Yeah, sure. I mean, he's got his stepdad Sid that threw him some money here and there, but didn't give a crap about him. Sure. So we know that he didn't really have a father. He had a mother who married this guy that wasn't a good dad, and that's why he found Kreese. And then, it's really a lot about that, because Johnny's whole... If you could carve it all out for Johnny, if he could just have his perfect day and that would be it would be him and Robbie on a river raft somewhere. His son. All he wants is his son. That's the heart of it. He would drop all of it. And since Robbie's so far away and unattainable, meanwhile, here comes Miguel, who needs him and is responding to him in the ways that Johnny's craving sowing into his own son. But this is the boy that needs it, and Johnny needs him. So there's a real love between Johnny and Miguel. Johnny has a love for Robbie, but there's no definition to it. It's not even, there's no memories there, and he's hoping for Robbie to come over to his camp, but that's complicated by LaRusso Auto Body.
I almost forgot about Sid. I'm sorry. Can't forget.
The great Ad Asner. What a treat to work. What a great. It was awesome to work with him. But yeah, you're right. It's very much all about relationships, father-son and father-daughter in some cases too.
Did you have any kind of hint to the layers of this character while you were working on the original film, or was it something that you really had to reevaluate this character and look at him in a different
The core
way?
of him is exactly the same. I don't know, I've done a couple of these tables now, but the two parts of the script that I identified with when I read The Karate Kid that allowed Billy Zabka to play Johnny Lawrence was the first scene where he's on a motorcycle on top of the hill, and he says, you know, hey, you want a cold one? No, you're the ace degenerate. No, X degenerate, man. I got 1 year to make it work, and that's what I'm going to do, make it work, all of it. He's got 1 year, so he's trying to make it work from the very beginning, right? And then at the end, Kreese tells him to sweep the leg. He reluctantly goes back out and almost in a hypnotic state and gets the crane kick, and at the end, hands him a trophy and says, "You're all right, LaRusso, good match." That's the heart of Johnny Lawrence. He's trying to make it work, and he's a good sport, and he's got a good heart. So those two pieces you can plug in anywhere, and you can write anything about him, and he's that same guy. So it's the same Johnny Lawrence, but he's just got 30-some years of life in between it, which was thrilling to play. So, I mean, I have the pulse of the heart of this guy, and then they're writing around him, and then I go and personify that. And so it's pretty cool. It's pretty a lot of fun.
I was an 80s kid, so I grew up, that was in my wheelhouse, the movie.
Yeah.
So your character for me growing up too was always that kid that got kicked, and villain, oh this and that.
Yeah.
How does it feel like knowing you were the real Karate Kid, and people are always telling the story, and they're like, yeah, right, we saw the movie, but now people are like, you was right the whole time. How do you feel now people seeing you like in a different light after playing this character in the series?
Well, I mean, it's on one hand it's sort of flattering, on the other hand it's like, well, don't miss the point of the Karate Kid, because that story is timeless, and that's the story of a boy that finds his dad figure and, you know, through little magic and a clap of a hand goes out and overcomes his obstacles, and that's something that kids and people have related to and fed on for years and years and years. So and I know my piece in that. I think there's something, you know, but, you know, in hindsight now you can watch it so many times and you can go, well, you know, everybody had a point of view here, you know, and somehow it's you know, now the bowl's been flipped a little bit, so you can feel a little bit more of where Johnny Lawrence's world is. And that's what the guys wanted to do, is like, we know Daniel LaRusso. We want to find out who Johnny Lawrence was. And in that way, show who, you know, between, but what is this saying? Like, underneath every bully is a victim, you know? And it's good to go deep. It doesn't let them off the hook for their behavior, but to get to understand why somebody's the way they are. Is great, and to be able to do it in a long form like a show like this where it's 10 episodes and hopefully going on and on for seasons, it goes deep and wide. But to answer your question, you know, it's both flattering and I don't, you know, but it's not, you know, really. It gives it life though, you know. It's nice that people are debating it and talking about it and feel that way about it. And the Johnny and me would completely agree. You know what I mean? The Billy is a little more or less, you know, a little more like, I'll stay neutral on that.
But around and we're like, I wonder if Johnny's ever going to do like motivational speaking.
He's doing it right now. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. Like, actually, because his character is such like said, a well-needed person.
Yeah. And asthma does not exist in this dojo. Isn't that count as a yeah, right.
Is there anything that you did not get to do in season 1 or season 2 that you'd really like to see explored with the character in the future?
Oh yeah, he's got a long way to go. I mean, he's you haven't seen the second season, right?
No.
Yeah. So there's a lot of season 3 and on. There's a lot of room. There's a big field.
Johnny's story of redemption.
Yeah, in ways you wouldn't even think about.
Can't wait.
So it's cool. Yeah.
I'll never look at a cement truck saying that again.
What's that? Never look at a cement truck? Yeah, wait till you see the whole episode. It's pretty funny, man.
Well, you've been doing a great job.
Yeah.
The writers are doing an excellent job with the way you're conveying this character.
Thank you.
Has heart, man.
Yeah. Thank you. That's the great thing about it, is like I get to bring in, that's the part of me I get to bring to the character. You know, I always say when I call home to my wife, like, she's like, how you doing? I'm like, I don't know, like 2% of me exists right now. Because you have to shave out 98% of my real self to play this character who's a little bit stuck in the past, who has a real tainted worldview and all that. But the one thing that's in that 2% is my heart, and it's great to get to do that. So I'm glad it's working and you guys are responding to it. It's like, it's fun.
My favorite thing.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. I appreciate it. Well, season 2 on its way. Yeah. Have a good day, everybody. Yep.